Well, a very good evening and welcome to Talking Leeds, episode 38.
Marching on together.
I haven't even spoken to you yet, George. Good evening.
We are so proud. We shout it out loud. We love you, Leeds, Leeds, Leeds.
Very good, very good. I think somebody's in a good mood. How are you, Mr. Bearded Peacock, George Brook?
Good evening, Aaron. Good morning, everybody else. And good afternoon, good evening, good morning. How are you, Aaron? Okay?
Yes, I've just about come down from Monday. We've been on cloud nine, haven't we, since Monday, George? Do you know what? I'm going to put this out straight away. We've got no Tanaka time, no quiz. It's just bang, an hour chatting Leeds United being brought into the Premier League. George,
on together. Leeds, yes.
It was all doom and gloom a few weeks ago, wasn't it?
Look, Aaron, yes, absolutely it was. I mean, come on. We had a poor few weeks, but I think for me, mate, the real sort of turning of the screw was that win at Borough. You know, that win at Borough for me.
Yeah.
Then the belief came back in the boys. We got the goal. Only one goal was needed there. We should have had more. They gave a lot in that performance. They understood that they can do it now. After a couple of bad results in terms of draws, we can do it. The belief is there. We played them off the park that evening. And for me, since then, when we've won 4 in a row now, we've won every game since then. So absolutely unbelievable scenes on Monday. I must admit, it took a little bit for me to sink it in, actually. And I think it wasn't until probably Tuesday till I really started to think, wow, we're in the Premier League now. This is great. This is what we wanted, because I must admit, I sat there on Monday, watched the game. Obviously, Joel Peru was unbelievable. 20-minute hat-trick. Where was that, a few weeks ago? He wasn't there. He loves playing against Stoke, probably. But
I mean, everybody loves,
everybody loves it.
Them.
If you looked at, and it was nostalgic and reminiscent of, the COVID end of the, start of the COVID situation where we pumped them 5-0 on the way to winning the title. This time it was 6-0, and they don't enjoy coming to Elland Road. I knew that we would beat them, but to do it in that fashion and then just to wait, a couple of hours, pressure was off Leeds, just party time. I know you were at Elland Road, Aaron, and anybody in the comments there that was as well. I couldn't get there. Disappointingly, I would have enjoyed that.
George, I want to briefly touch on the game because it was a 6-0 absolute hammering. What got me one, and I talked about this a lot with Jerry when we did the match reaction, it's that it was so easy. We weren't expecting it to be that easy. We were expecting it to be a 1-0, 2-1 affair. It was going to be really, really hard and difficult. Stoke they were absolutely by far one of the worst teams. They're clearly on the beach. They don't care. They didn't want to be there. But to win 6-0, to go up, and then obviously the only thing which I didn't like was that Burnley and Sheffield United had to play at 5:30 or whatever it was. So come home, watch that, and then get down to Elland Road. And honest to God, George, being able to take Freddie down and witness the carnage and the flares, the smoke, the atmosphere was just history made for me. I'll be able to tell my little boy all about that when he's older. He was there.
How did he react?
Loved every bit of it. He was smiling away in his pram, and obviously we didn't go in the thick of it. We weren't. We were at a safe distance near the Lowfields kind of tunnel thing. From where he was. My missus came down as well. But well within safe regions. But what was nice about Monday evening, George, was just the shit. I've never seen anything like it. We went down early doors, and there were just people coming in every direction to Elland Road, and it was just brilliant. I've never seen anything like it. We parked on Lowfields Road because the missus drove away, had a couple of beverages to partake in the
of course
celebrations, of course.
Yeah.
But walking under that tunnel, and I've walked through that tunnel. You know what I mean? Lowfields Road.
Yes.
As you come underneath the M621 to Elland Road, and walking through there, which I've done for years and years and years and years and years, seeing that smoke and the singing, the chanting, it was just super. I've never seen anything like it. It's really hard. The drone footage, which I'm sure everybody's seen, doesn't give it justice. It really doesn't. It was just brilliant. It really was. And my mate, who's a friend of the constabulary, he's a police officer, went down at 1 o'clock and the road was trashed. Beer everywhere, but fair play to the Leeds community. They got it sorted out the next day, which was good. But yeah, listen, everybody is happy. Good evening, Michael. Good evening, Gavin. We are all championship. Good evening, all championship incoming. We love you, Leeds. And Michael says, good evening, and howdy. Hope we're good. We're brilliant, Michael. God. Absolutely brilliant. And did he enjoy Freddie's Bamford song about Chris Wilder? We'll come on to Chris Wilder a little bit later on in the show because we've got tons to talk about with Leeds getting promoted. But Josh, did you go down to Elland Road? I forgot to ask you. Did you go down?
No. If I'd have been down there, and I would have let you know.
You'd have been on top of the club shop. You'd have been on the shop.
I was nowhere near Elland Road. I was sat here actually watching the match and then watching the Burnley game and then watching the celebrations. I wish I was down at Elland Road, but I did have work early doors on Tuesday morning.
As did I. But I was sensible. I only went down for. I saw Simon Ricks of the Kaiser Chiefs. Had a bit of a chat with him. Who does Don't Go to Bed Just Yet. Saw him. Big shout out to the Don't Go to Bed Just Yet lads. Had a nice chat with them. And all was good. It's just
of course. But you can get to Leeds a lot easier than I can.
Yes. I'm only 10 minutes
about it. Or if I was 2 minutes down the road, of course I'd be there all day and all night. But I'm not, and it's a long way. To Leeds for myself. So it means I've got. So I couldn't be there. I'm hoping possibly if I can get there for the parade on the 5th of May. I hopefully will be around Leeds at that point, but I will
be there as well. We will both be there. We could do a live.
Potentially. I would love to be able to do that, but let's wait.
We'll get you on the bus, George. You'll be there with Pat Bamford singing Chris Wilder songs.
Is that it? Oh, giving the interviews on the bus. Pat, how are you doing it? Whatever. Oh, that'd be great, wouldn't it? Soaked in champagne or whatever it is, but I don't know. I mean, look, fabulous scenes outside the stadium. Everybody raucous, getting involved and enjoying it and everything like that. And I'm sure it went on long into the night in Leeds City Centre. I know the LUTV people, Emma What's-Her-Face and Jermaine Beckford and Michael Bridges were getting a bit giddy and they said, we're going out in Leeds now and all this. So, everybody was just enjoying it. Hopefully it all was in good faith and in good, everything else. So it didn't boil over into unpleasantness. No. So, everybody happy and joyous and, why not? Like you said, Michael, big up to myself who never seemed to doubt Leeds in the last 8 matches, despite the draw, home games, the Swans in away to Luton Town. Yeah, look, I knew Leeds were going to go up. This is the thing. Despite my, and Jimbo made the point, maybe it is me as a ghostwriter writing those reports in the Daily Mail. I don't know. But, despite my, disappointment and not enjoying the manager as such, I 100% agreed and was never in doubt that Leeds would definitely get promoted. They're the best team in the league. We showed it on multiple occasions. And we showed it once and for all there with a 6-0 demolition. I know it was only Stoke City, but you still got to go out there and do that. We've been to Elland Road many times, obviously, this season, and we've been frustrated by many a team like that and just eventually got the 1 goal or the 2 goals to see at home. This time it was none of that. Just get it done. You sense a kind of urgency from Leeds, Aaron, that we hadn't seen.
Do you know what? Yeah, I completely agree. And do you know what? We seem to be. I'm going to talk about Stoke again. You know, I always refer back to Bielsa's first game for Leeds. You know, way back when we beat them 3-1, and I thought, bloody hell, this is one of the best football games. I've been going on about it for years. That the 3-1 win against Stoke at home in Bielsa's first season was phenomenal. But for me, George, I think that 6-0 win on Saturday, and this is big credit to Daniel Farke. I'm comparing him to Marcelo here. That 6-0 game for me on Monday was up there with that, and that is a really high bar. It seemed to me that all the shackles have been put, you know, the weights are off them, and they've been given so much freedom to just say, go on, do the hell what you want. And you could sense that the confidence, the belief, I can't find any adjectives to describe how brilliant that performance was. But for me, obviously we got promoted on the back of it. It's up there with one of the best Leeds United performances I have seen. And I'm comparing that to the 3-1 win, which Bielsa did in his first season. And that is a really high bar to judge it against.
Yeah, of course it is, Aaron. But I think you just had this sort of urgency in the energy.
It was just press. It was attacking. It was it didn't stop. It should have been more. It should have been 10.
It should have been.
That's not a joke.
It should have been 10, like Jimbo says as well. It should have been 10. But I think we just eased off because
they knew the job was done. The job was done.
But you know, still got a nice go through Willie Nonto. It was a lovely ball from Solomon, nice header from Nonto, even though he was unmarked. But you just got the sense like Leeds were like, oh, fuck it, let's get this out the way, and then let's just celebrate, and let's just blow them away, get the goals, get it done. And
that's what was nice about that performance is that it's like the chains are off, lads.
Yeah,
you could, you know, the freedom and the amount of Stoke were poor. There's no doubt about that, but it was like I've never seen anything like it. For Perrault to score 4 goals in what? A hat trick in 25 minutes is just unheard of. 20 minutes, sorry. It was just I've never seen anything like it. It was brilliant.
It was brilliant.
Well done. Well done to them.
The shackles were off, like you said. Go out and play. And like I said, the lads were just like, hell, we want to get this game out of the way. Let's fucking batter them, and then let's just wait and get on the boobs afterwards. And you felt like that was the team's kind of ethos in this game. Just blow them away, get the goals in, fill your boots, and enjoy it. Have a great time, and then we'll continue that into the night. I'm sure they must have had an absolutely belting evening after the dust had settled and everybody had gone home. I'm sure the boys partied well into the night and the morning, and I know they're out again, you know, on Tuesday having lunches and out in the city centre, you know, having.
They deserve it. They deserve it.
Absolutely. Great to see them, you know, all together. You know, even the fringe players out drinking with the boys in the starting 11. Everybody mating around. It was great to see. Even now, you're still looking at the images and videos coming out from it. It's just great to see. It's a real buzz. They deserve it. They absolutely do. I know everybody gives them stick throughout the season, and rightly so at times. But I think ultimately, when the plaudits come, we've got promoted. That is where you got to say, hey, go and enjoy it, lads.
Absolutely.
Enjoy it. We don't have another game until Monday. Settle up, have a few days off, go and enjoy it. Friday, Saturday, come back to the training pitch.
And that leads us, doesn't it, into the next couple of games, because obviously it's not done now. We want to finish the season on 100 points. We actually want to win the bloody league now. For me, I'm going to say this. I'm not fussed about winning the league, if I'm being honest. The goal was promotion. It's done. Winning the league doesn't mean much to me, but it would be nice, because obviously we missed it in the COVID season to get the whole parade thing. Because believe it or not, now in the championship, if you finish second, you get a trophy anyway and runners-up medals. But do you know what? Who cares? The job's done. We're going to see some form of parade in Leeds City Centre.
The job's done, you know. But let's be honest. We don't like watching Leeds United lose games of football.
No, I want us to go and win it. I'm not fussed if they
want to
don't.
win the final two. We want to get promoted as champions, but if we don't, we don't. We're promoted at the end of the day. Second is fine, but first is what we really want. First will be what the boys want. Go and enjoy it, lads.
Yeah, but for me, my opinion is it'd be nice to see it, but if we didn't, the job was done. The job was done. I just want to touch on some of the comments because the comments go. Please do keep your comments coming in and give us a like and a share on YouTube. Hit that bell or whatever it is on YouTube, and please do subscribe to us because we want to get to 200 before the end of the season. That'll be great. The subs have gone up as well. Brilliant as well, by the way. Michael says, guys, I believe you have to get a ticket into the Peacock. Do they relax that after the game kickoff, or is it enforced throughout the whole of the game? We heard when I was down at Elland Road, we were going to go to the Peacock and watch the Burnley game, but we couldn't get in. Oh, a big shout out as well to Matty Littlewood, who was in the Peacock. He's a Keith Lights. He's a good friend of mine. I'm going to give him a shout out for downing himself with his top off, with a pint over his head, and getting lots of cheers from the Leeds United fans. Matthew Littlewood, you absolute legend. If you haven't seen this, follow Lewis Dayton on Twitter and you'll see the video. Fair play to you, Matty, you good lad. In regards to your question, you do need a ticket, I believe. When I've been to the Peacock afterwards, you still got to show your home ticket. But yeah, it was a no-go on Monday for me. Michael says the 3 teams that went up last season, 2 of those teams were mocking Leeds United singing their Falling Apart song. How ironic that all 3 are on their way down. Michael, don't worry, because come the end of the season, we'll dedicate a podcast to Leicester, Ipswich and Southampton, and we'll get it all off our chests when we hopefully win the league. Let's have a look here.
On this, Aaron, and yeah, you can do that if you want to, but
no, we will because we deserve it.
For me though, and I'm going to take a different stance on this here because I don't. Who are they? Who are they? We don't need to focus on their bad seasons.
No, if you give it, you got to be able to take it.
Of course, but I don't want to get promoted and be singing about Southampton, Ipswich, and Leicester. Is all I'm saying.
I don't care. Listen, those relegated teams. When we dedicate the show to them, we will discuss in great length that how Leicester are absolutely going to be absolutely fucked to high heavens with PSR rules in the EFL. They're absolutely going to be screwed next year. Southampton are an absolute mockery of a team, and Ipswich Town. It was a remarkable achievement to them to get the 2 back-to-back promotions. It really was. It was brilliant. However, they need a project reset down there because a lot of their players will leave, as will Southampton and Leicester players. Jamie Vardy's already come out and said he's going. So good luck to them.
Yeah,
good luck to them. Enjoy playing Wrexham at home. That's your blockbuster tie. There you go. They're the new cash cows of the EFL. Wrexham and Birmingham.
Yeah. Well, that's it, isn't it, Aaron? You know what I mean? They play them. Look, who knows how we're going to do, but
that's what the EFL are going to be doing now. Wrexham are going to be on every week in the championship.
Yeah.
That's the new cash cow.
Yeah, of course it is. Wrexham will be there, mate. Wrexham will be there, and that's absolutely fine.
I hope they do it again. So yeah, I hope they do it again.
Who cares at the end of the day? It's Leeds. Leeds have got promoted. And we don't. My point is, we don't need to be focusing on what they said and what they did. We got promoted. We're in the Premier League. Fuck the rest of them. I don't give a fuck what they're doing. Whether they're going to win promotion next season, who cares? They mocked us. All they could do was sing about us. We don't need to do that. We are Leeds United. We're better than them. So let's focus on ourselves.
No, we are Premier League. They are EFL Championship. It's as simple
exactly.
as that.
We've done it.
We've done it, and they're going down.
They're going down.
Down.
And the thing is, Leeds, did it in the best way, and we've not done anything beyond the means of the rules and this sort of thing. And we've waited a year, and we did it the best way, and that's the only way we can do. And Gavin says, lads, would you take KDH from Chelsea? He's a player in the Rothwell mould.
No.
I don't know really. No, I don't think so. I think, look, this is another discussion for another podcast, maybe about transfers, who's going to come in. I know probably, Aaron, we will have to touch on the managerial situation.
Well, no, right. I'm glad you raised that, because let's have this debate now, George, about Daniel Farke, and I know you've been very active on our WhatsApp groups over the last couple of hours and days. Daniel Farke, does he deserve a chance in the Premier League? I genuinely, if you are watching this live now, get in the comments and tell me what your thoughts are on this, because Talkshite have been spieling, the Daily Mail have been spieling that it's all about Daniel Farke getting sacked and so-and-so's coming in. Absolute nonsense. Nonsense, nonsense, nonsense. That man has got us into the Premier League, George. He does not deserve to be sacked. I know you want rid of him. I know you do. But surely to God, you would say he deserves a crack at the Premier League. Give him 10 games if you have to. Get him, give him a sizable transfer budget, give him 60, 70, 80 million, 100 million, or whatever it is Leeds are going to give him. Give him an opportunity to manage in the Premier League with Leeds United. Why on earth would you disrupt and throw out the team unity you've got? Why would you, the 49ers have given him a 4-year deal. He's got 2 years left on it. Realistically, 17th is the goal next year. Now we can talk about the Premier League. But we can't sack him, George. Surely not. It's cruel. It is cruel to do that.
I don't know if it's cruel, Aaron. I mean, he'll get a good
payout.
payout.
It doesn't matter about a payout. It doesn't matter.
I don't think it's cruel. I think
it is cruel. The guy has got us up. The guy stuck around last year, George. He's got us up into the Premier League. He deserves. Look, yes, you can compare his Norwich record. Of course, you can. I understand that. That his win percentage isn't as what it should be. But you look at the transfer activity, which Norwich, they give him nothing. Nothing. He has earned and deserves a chance in the Premier League. He really, really does. And look, 35 points. 38 points will probably keep you in the league next year.
Yeah, look, I don't doubt that he deserves a chance, yes. But I think if you're giving him 10 games, you might as well say goodbye. Goodbye now. What's the point? So for me, he's gone. It's a non
What?
It's a non-start.
You want him gone?
No, I don't. I think he is gone. I don't.
Do you think he deserves a chance, though, George? Do you think he deserves a chance?
I think he deserves a chance. Yeah, I think he deserves a chance. But for me, he's gone. But Farke is stubborn. Him sticking with Meslier almost sunk us. It did, Mark. It did. That's the thing. I think he's gone.
That's not his fault. That's not his fault. Doesn't matter now, anyway. It doesn't matter, Mark. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, but it does. It matters completely.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We've got them. If you look at the YouTube channel and you look at our X account, we've got the magic P next to us. It doesn't matter. All that is, it could have done, coulda, shoulda, woulda, all that crap. It doesn't matter.
It matters next season, though. And Michael says, plus, why would the 49ers sack him?
Why? Go on.
No, this is what Michael said here. So for me, that would be unprofessional by the board after getting us up, doing what would send a bad message to other managers. Possibly, although I think it would just say, yeah, thank you. You got us up. Now we need to improve.
But if you the Parag kind of interview has been circulating background online.
Yeah.
When they appointed Farke, and they said that they would allow him the opportunity if they do get up, and it's a 4-year deal. It's a massive. And I understand where Gabriel Agbonlahor has come out and said, we need to sack him. It's just clickbait crap, if I'm being honest. And then the Daily Mail have jumped on the bandwagon. I don't think at the moment we've got to win the league. That's the goal. But sacking Daniel Farke is not a good decision. Look at what happened with, I know if you look at the promoted clubs which went up last season, with Leicester, Arenzo went to bloody Chelsea. Maresca went to Chelsea, and then they brought Steve Cooper in. He wasn't given an opportunity. He didn't be able to buy his players that he wanted to move on. It's just nonsense. You're just constantly firefighting. You need stability when you get promoted into the Premier League. Stability is key. Look at what happened under Bielsa. Stability is key.
Yeah, but I think that was, I don't know.
It's different, but you could argue that. But if you allow Fark to have, let's say, 100 million, blank 100 million, go and get 6 quality Premier League players, put that into the spine of that squad, and I think they'll give a better crack at it than the 3 which have come up.
I think.
Surely.
I think we replace him at the end of the season. I think it's already done. Yeah.
Who? Right, come on. Who?
It's already done.
Don't say Jose Mourinho.
It's already done. And
who the hell is going to come in?
I mean,
who?
I'm sorry to say, but I think it's a smart move by the 49ers. If he's gone, it's a smart move because they have said to him.
Who do you want?
Hang on, let me make the point before I answer the question.
And tell us, right, go on then.
So look, it's a smart move. They've said, hey, he's the best in the championship. He has a great record of getting teams into the championship, but no, look at his record in the Premier League. Let's let him get us to that point, and then let's give him the sack. I think it's brutal, but that's football.
It is. I agree.
It is. It's ludicrous, but it's football, and it's the best interest of the team and the club. For me, sack him at the end of the season. Not sack him like, oh, you're being sacked, you're fired. But, just say to him, thank you, and thanks a lot, but we need better. And I don't think that's a bad thing to say.
Okay, so who do you want?
We don't need a manager getting gone after 10 games. It disrupts everything. Get him out as soon as you can. Say thank you very much, but goodbye. You know what I mean? And that for me. I wouldn't be opposed to this at all. I think it's harsh on him, but maybe he's already agreed. We don't know what the conversations have been in private. Maybe they've come to an agreement between the two parties, saying you get us up, and then you can go. Then you can go. You don't know. For me, you talk about bullshit. Talk Sport's a load of crap. I don't even listen. I never will listen to it.
Daily Mail is also a useless.
That's a load of crap. But you've got to say that they're not just reporting it for nonsense reasons. Yeah. This doesn't happen all the time. There's got to be something in there. There is something in there, and that's just what's happening. That's why it's out. There's rumors going around. It's not just rumors. There's something come out. Something has said. Something has been said. So yeah.
Okay. Who do you want?
Who do I want? I'm not going to say who I want, Arron. It's more of a case of who I've been kind of mentioned, who has been sort of on the list of people involved.
Well, let's throw Jose Mourinho in then. Jose Mourinho. I can't believe we're actually saying this at this stage. We've just been promoted 4 days ago, whenever it was, and we're on about sacking Daniel Fark. It is a ludicrous conversation. It is football, but for me, George, I just want to touch on the points which I've already made. Fark deserves a crack at it. He deserves the opportunity because I don't think he's really proven himself at this level with a budget. Bielsa had a checkbook. Fark hasn't ever had a checkbook in the Premier League. He's not a bad coach, George. He's not a bad manager. Look at his points per game ratio. Look at what he's done. He's a fantastic Championship manager. But surely you look at Thomas Frank, who's done it with Brentford. You can go through the teams in the Premier League who've had stability and they've continued to be successful. Emery, I'm not saying he wasn't in the Championship because he wasn't, but he's stabled at Villa and now they're competing. I just think it's just David Moyes as an example. He's stabled the ship there at West Ham, obviously he's at Everton now. I just think if you look at Brentford and you look at Thomas Frank, I'm not saying that we should compare that. You look at them like for like, similar. He can do it in both divisions. I don't see why Daniel Farke can't.
Well, yeah, I mean, Clive says Frank did feck all before Brentford. He was given a chance.
Clive's talking nonsense. He got him up to the Premier League, man. Exactly the same.
There's a lot of,
he was given a chance.
Only concerned and bothered about himself is what.
This is the thing. Jose Mourinho is not the right fit for Leeds at this moment in time. You've got to be established in the Premier League. 17th is the goal next year. It doesn't matter. Anything above 17 is a bonus. And do you know what, Judge? It's going to be extremely hard to stay in the Premier League next year. It's going to be hard. No matter who comes in.
It'll be tremendously hard, yeah. It'll be tremendously hard.
Whoever comes in. So why would you put Jose Mourinho in post, give him $100,000 a week and say, right, there you go, keep us up. When you've got Daniel Farke, half the price and probably keep us up.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, Michael says he gets what I am saying. Football is a business and sometimes it's cruel. Main thing for me, I always will support the manager and whoever coaches Leeds as a fan. Exactly. This is what I'm saying. It might be cruel. It might be ludicrous to be replacing him when he's had success. But at the end of the day, would you rather, Arron, we're 10 games into the Premier League season, sitting bottom of the table with no wins, and replacing the manager, or replacing him now and potentially having a better placed manager in the Premier League to then go and actually compete?
But okay, I see what you're saying. I understand the point you're making, but realistically, if you're in the top division of England, you've just been promoted. There's a lot of talk about Jose Mourinho. No, Jose Mourinho will not come to Leeds. It's nonsense. There's no way he would come to Leeds. Not for a while. And to be honest, would I want him at Leeds? That's what you've got to ask yourself. Do you want Jose Mourinho to manage Leeds United? Ask that to yourself. The answer for me is no. His ego is massive. He loses the dressing room. He doesn't get back to, he's a bit like, Guardiola. He needs a checkbook to bring success. There are PSR rules now in the Premier League. When he first joined Chelsea, he had a blank checkbook and they were signing players left, right and centre for millions and millions of pounds. And there was no PSR rules there or anything like that. It's just nonsense. I don't want him as the manager. Yeah, no, exactly. Mourinho only manages clubs at the top of the divisions, or clubs with fair play. Didn't have it at Spurs, but he still had a sizable transfer budget. It just doesn't make sense. It just really doesn't. And it's all right, Mourinho coming out and saying, "Oh, I want to go for anyone who's in the top, whatever, and don't want to play in UEFA Cup competitions or whatever he wants." Nonsense, Jose. Nonsense. You've won the UEFA treble, pal. You've won a lot in the UEFA championships and things like that. Of course you want to be playing in it. And to be honest, I think football's evolved so much now. It really has.
Oh, no, I completely agree, Arron. Yeah, it really, really has. From when he was winning leagues with Chelsea and other teams, he's managed.
But that was money. That was not coaching. That wasn't coaching. Manchester United wasn't coaching.
Yeah, but he's managed at the highest level. He's won trophies. I think it would be.
Just look at the budget, man.
Yeah, but for me, you're looking. For me, it's ludicrous to say, "Oh, I want Daniel Farke over Jose Mourinho." Really,
has to stand, yes, because he's done something which only he and Marcelo Bielsa and Aragonesa could do. All those look at the previous managers which we've had. Not one other than those three in my lifetime have delivered something.
Yeah, but I think to say you'd want Daniel Farke over Jose Mourinho is absolutely nonsense. I think Jose Mourinho, all the fanfare, yes, he'd give all the fanfare, but would we be improved then under Farke? Of course we would. That's just fact. So, I get where you want to come from. Daniel has the emotional bond, the promotion under his belt now.
So that's what you need when you're going into a relegation threatened season. You need that unity. You need that bond. You need that togetherness.
But
and
you
Daniel
also
Farke,
need the quality.
That aside, but what do you look at what you put into the pot there and you mix it round? What brings you success? Togetherness, unity, team spirit, all that sort of stuff. Daniel has put that team together, and you would hope that with the additions he can bring in, whether how much money he gets the opportunity, no matter how much money he gets to spend, so long as he's given an opportunity to do that. George, in the Premier League, we could be sitting 10th and we'd be happy. We'd be happy. In 10 games in, we could be 10th. We could win 4 games out of 10. That's great if we do. He's got a bond with the players, says Gavin. Exactly. Like what Bielsa did. Like what Thomas Frank's done.
He does, but again, Bielsa didn't really have much of a relationship with the players, did he?
He did. They adored, those players adored him.
Yeah, of course they did, but he wasn't close to the boys, was he?
George, go and have a look at the documentary. Of course he was.
Come on, man. He wasn't. He could barely speak English, fella. Come on. He wasn't close to the boys at all. Regardless of that, he had a professional relationship with them. You know, I believe that, if you're talking about managers, if you're going up against Farke, or is it Farke or is it Mourinho? It's Mourinho. I'm so sorry. But, Pellet has sacked Farke. I don't think it would be Dome. I think it would be.
What? Okay, let's flip it round. Let's flip it round then, George. Let's say the 49ers have a complete change. Obviously, they're buying Rangers. That's all in the pipeline. That's going to go through this summer. Obviously, there's the Elland Road development, of course, which was approved by the council this week. There's a lot of money being pumped into Elland Road, to build that up to the standard that it needs to be a top stadium in England. Let's say, Mark, you haven't got as much money as we think. Who'd you get? You still sacking them?
Yeah. I just think I'm just in the camp of I appreciate what everybody's saying and I take the point and everything, but I just
there are tons. I love the comments. We're going to jump into the comments because there's absolutely tons. Because this is really, it struck a nerve with me, George, as you do sometimes. You've been Farke out. You've been Farke out all season, and I'm defending the manager.
Of course,
I've got.
Get him out.
Yeah, I just want to touch on what there's absolutely tons coming in. Clive, they all deserve a chance as long as we add Premier League quality players to our squad. Completely agree there with you for once, Clive. I've seen your comments. I agree with you. Listen, if we get Premier League quality in, bearing in mind, like what I said before, George, and I always keep reminding you of this, we can't be dipping into the Austrian leagues. We can't be dipping into the Swiss leagues. We can't be dipping into these little shithouse leagues in Eastern Europe or Central Europe or wherever they are, trying to get a bargain or two. You got to get proper Premier League qualities. That's what they need to do over the summer. And hopefully the 49ers will back them. They've exactly. I mean, the 49ers have already ironed out and agreed a pre-deal with Farke. Get us up. You have the first bite of the cherry. And he deserves it, doesn't he, Michael? I think George agrees. And it's interesting what Michael says there. Most managers take teams to promotion eventually are sacked in the Premier League. The team is struggling in or just about the Premier League, trapped off few survive like Kieran McKenna and Vincent Kompany. There you go. Yeah, completely agree.
I think that's it. I think
But this is the thing. When you look at Kompany, I'm going to touch on him because obviously he's doing really well at Bayern Munich. He wasn't a bad coach at Burnley. Just results didn't go his way. Well, it's a results-driven business, isn't it? I think I think for me, the whole Farke thing is you've got to give the guy a chance.
Yeah, but I think do you give him a chance and then regret it when you're 10, 15 games in and bottom of the table or struggling in the relegation zone, then you've got to make a change. For me, this is the best time to do it. After we've won promotion, say, hey, thank you very much, Daniel, for what you've done there. But we need better and we need to improve as a club and make sure financially that we're going to be in the Premier League next season. So,
He says, Georgie, you implied by the Daily Mail.
I don't.
Are you employed by the Daily Mail?
No, mate. But no. But Amy here says start tonight until Sunday. 49ers have them, minds on the NFL draft. Probably. But Michael, Arron and George, what's your realistic prediction of our league position next year, despite us knowing what changes are to come? I think
what changes are to come, Michael. First of all, what changes, like in terms of incomings, or
everything, isn't it? The manager, the transfers out, the transfers in, all of that business.
It's a tough one, isn't it, George, to kind of predict as things stand. Well, let's look at the bottom of the table now in the Premier League. The three which have gone up have come down. I think the same happened last year, didn't it, as well, with Sheffield United, Luton, and Burnley. And you've got to break that trend. Look at the Premier League now. What are the bottom five? You've got Spurs down there. They're going to sack Postecoglou. He's going to go. Manchester United are down there. They're just shocking. Wolves, West Ham. Ultimately, you've got to be beating those teams around you. Obviously the three which have come up. So there's two. There's Burnley, which we've got to play twice. You've got to hope for maximum points off them. Whoever comes up in the playoffs, hopefully it's somebody like, I don't know, whoever comes up out of there. You've got to look at 4 wins out of those which have come up, and then you've got to try and pick up some wins elsewhere. But I do think the last, the Premier League now, the class and the quality has got a lot bigger from when we were last in it, and that's only a couple of years ago. Realistically, the goal for me, Michael, is 17th. And if we finish 17th next year, that for me is a job done season. And there's no reason why we can't. I'm not saying that this current squad would get you to 17th in the Premier League. I think if there's no additions, I think it'll be bottom 3. If there are quality Premier League additions, I think it could be 17th. What do you think, George?
Well, I think there will be quality additions, and there's no doubt about it. I think the manager will be changed. I think we'll finish mid-lower table, 15th, something like this.
Again, anything above 17th is an absolute bonus, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Me, especially the first season.
17th is a goal, isn't it? Yeah. And you're relying on. If you look at the Premier League of the last couple of years, you're relying on an established Premier League side to have a really poor season.
Do you know what I think, though, George? I want to touch on what you said there, because if you think of the Premier League now, potentially this is how bonkers it is, and it won't happen. 11 teams could potentially, or 10 teams or whatever, could be playing in Europe. I think of teams such as Forest, who are going to be in either the UEFA Cup or in the Champions League. Will struggle because they can't compete. Yeah. I look at what West Ham did, when they won the Conference League. The dip in form of the Premier League dropped because they put all the eggs in one basket into Europe. So you would hope that one of those teams, somebody like Fulham, you would hope that they would potentially Bournemouth. You'd think that something's got to give. So you would hope that one of those who are in one of those UEFA Championship kind of competitions would struggle. So I don't know. It's really, it depends on the summers as well, doesn't it, George? In the Premier, you look at the recruitment. I'm sure Manchester United will have a lot of money to spend this time around. Spurs will, because they're going to sack Big Ange. He's going to go. It's really hard to tell at this moment in time, isn't it? Well, I don't know. What do you think?
It's impossible to say, but I think
Everton.
Yeah, ultimately, look, you're relying on one other team. I think it's a good point, Aaron, about the international like the Champions League and stuff coming into play for the teams that aren't used to having those things. I think that comes into play definitely. I think you're relying on a team like West Ham or like Forest, Brentford, whatever. You're relying on one of those or two of those teams have really poor seasons, and it's about time. If you look at the history of it, that, a promoted side did stay up for a second season, because it hasn't happened now for 2 years. I think the last 2 seasons, including this season, all the 6 promoted sides have gone down at the first time of asking. So, something
if you look at the league, I'm just looking at the league table as you're speaking, George. Currently, West Ham are 17th on 36. I think we've got relegated on 35.
I think we got relegated on 32.
32 or something. Anyway, it was mid-lowers, 30s, wasn't it? You think, 36 is enough to keep you up this year. I think, but you've got to aim for 40, haven't you? That's the goal. Get to 40 points.
I think ultimately, like the West Hams and everybody, Wolves, who have picked up recently,
they're top of the form table, aren't they, Wolves?
Well, they've won the last 5, but I think ultimately they haven't had great seasons, and they're comfortably ahead of Ipswich, who I think are 18th, aren't they?
Yeah, right.
21 points. Because they've had so poor seasons. I mean, they'll be relegated on the weekend. But, the other 2 have been confirmed already. But because they've been so poor, you've been allowed to get away with 36 points. 36 points usually at this point in the season would have you scrambling and waiting with bated breath whether you're going to be staying up or not. Whether it's just a breeze now for this season. We've got to make sure that we're getting at least 36 to 40 points, 45 points, something like this. That'll keep us up. So I think Leeds will be confident, but I think you've got to act quickly. This is why I think we've got to act quickly now and just be like, bang, thank you for getting us promoted or winning the title, but we've got to improve. We've got to make sure that we're secure, get the players in, get a good coach in early.
But the danger of what you've just created, you need, when you're going in, we're being promoted, and you can look at the 3. I don't want to look at the 3 which have come up last year with Southampton, Ipswich, and Leicester, because they've had poor seasons.
Yeah.
If you look at the ones you look at Ipswich, who are currently 18th, they've had more momentum than Leicester this season. They've had a better, as things stand, season than them. They kept stability. They kept Kieran McKenna. They kept the majority of their squad, and they tried to. What they did, their transfer strategy was wrong. They were trying to buy all the best championship-ish players and get Calvin Phillips on loan and hope that would keep them in the division, and it hasn't worked. That approach you've seen happen before. I think Fulham did it a couple of years ago, and it kept them up. This is because you've got to learn from those mistakes. But one thing that you do need when you be promoted is you've got to have stability. You've got to have that team unity. The minute you start messing around with coaching and managers, Ampadu, I think, is quite close to Fark. You need that unity and that bond, which has been fostered. I'm using my words carefully here, which has been really fostered in a long, hard stinker of a season in the Championship, when we have had lots of downs, bearing in mind we've had the Melier debate, we've had the draws, we've had the dip in form, we've had the craziness of late goals and mistakes made. Fark's got that right. You look at Big Sam, when he came in, he tried to do it, didn't happen. You look at the managers which have tried and failed, and it didn't happen. Fark ultimately has got these decisions right. So let's just hope that Leeds give him that checkbook, give him that support, and who knows, with more additions added, a little bit of Fark magic, he could do all right. That's what I want to see. He deserves a punt. Give him 10 games, and if he does it, fabulous. If he doesn't, then you go back to the drawing board. But who are you going to bring in 10 games? It doesn't matter if it's at the beginning or within 10 games or 15 or 20 games. Look who Leicester, they sacked Steve Cooper, who were in a better position under him, and they brought Ruud van Nistelrooy in, and look at what happened. Exactly there, Michael says it there, not improved. That's the point I was going to make.
No, and well, Dustin 49. Thank you for joining us, mate. Thank you for joining.
Give us a like and a subscribe, Dustin. Come on.
Congrats on the promotion. Thank you, mate. Who do you support, just as any chance? But no, I completely disagree with your point, Aaron. Michael says Leicester City sacked Cooper after 12 matches and they have not improved under Ruud van Nistelrooy. No, of course not. Sometimes it doesn't work, but sometimes it does. And,
but it doesn't. It hasn't worked this season.
Not for them, but sometimes it does. And if you're going to sack him after 10 games, well, hell, you might as well sack him at the start of the season for me. Sack him and get a better manager in there. And this is what
okay.
This is what they're going to do.
Okay, right. Let's just think about this then, George. Let's say they back him. What positions do you think Fark needs to address in the summer then? What do we need? I saw a couple of comments of saying, right, okay, what we're going to do with the players who are out on loan, what we're going to do with the players currently on loan at Leeds. What do we need then? Let's say Fark stays for argument's sake. What does he need to do in terms of recruitment? What do we need to keep us 17th and above in the league?
Well, I think, was it Michael that said about the loan players? I mean, all of those guys will go. There's We'll discuss loan players. But what players does Fark or whoever to appease you? I said to appease you, Fark or another person. What do we need then, George? What do we need all
to
the way around?
Because 11 players.
We need loads of players, mate.
Right, right, realistically, we're not going to get loads of players in because that's ridiculous.
I think we'll get at least 11.
11?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we need it. We need
players.
Yeah, that's
how much is going to be spending there for 11 players? You're going to be spending what? At least 250 million.
No, I don't think so. No, I don't think so. I bet you Ipswich, they signed about the same. I
don't think Leeds need to sign 11 players, George, if I'm being honest, next season.
No, I think, look at the quality squad.
All right then. Okay, let's do what Clive says. Good old Clive. Thank you for this one. I wish you were on, Clive. I wish you were on because you could put this to George yourself. Who in the current quad is good enough for the Premier then? Who's good enough? Who's good enough?
See, Michael says we will get between 6 and 8 players. That's not bad. That's probably a good guess, isn't it? Yeah. And Dale
who's
says
good enough?
A goalkeeper, 2 fullbacks, a centre back, 2 midfielders, a cam, and 2 forwards. 8, he reckons, is needed.
Okay.
Gavin says 2 centre backs, a left back, 2 attacking mids, 2 strikers. If we're being honest, I'd probably say a goalkeeper, couple of centre backs, both the full back areas, a midfield, 2 midfielders, a winger, a number 10, and probably 2 or 3 strikers. We need a whole new squad, mate, basically, and even 8 players is a new squad.
Go on then, tell us about the players, Clive, that you want. But
players.
But the question which Clive originally asked. Who's good enough in this squad for the Premier?
Well, I'll tell you here.
Go on.
Right.
Bogle for them. Bogle for me.
Squad in front of me. Carl Darlow. No. All 3 of the goalkeepers. Bin them off.
Wow. Next, carry on. Defense.
Kulavogi will already be gone.
Yeah, he'll go.
Byram gone.
Yeah, he'll go.
Max Vober, I think he will stay, but is he good enough? Then no. I don't know.
He's a good squad player.
Rodon will stay. Firpo, I think Firpo will stay.
I agree. I think he'll get a deal. I think he'll get a 2-year deal. That's what's been talked about.
I think he's earned it.
Do you think we still need another left back?
Yes, of course.
Yeah. Okay.
Ethan Ampadu will, of course, stay. I think Bogle will stay. Pascal will stay. I think Schmidt will also stay, but I don't think he'll have much.
But in terms of your centre backs, then I think for me, Strauch, it's just his injury concerns for me. I think a goalkeeper number 1 is needed. You're looking at 2 keepers. I think Darlow potentially could stay for another season. I think Meslier has played his last game for Leeds. I think he will go. I think he will leave us. Carnes, I think, will go as well. We need a quality goalkeeper, a Premier League proven quality goalkeeper to come in, and I think we need another centre back. I think, and a left back. So that's 3 for me so far at the back. What about your midfielders?
Midfielders, obviously Rothwell, I think, will go back to Bournemouth and then shipped again on loan or sold. Okay. Obviously Tanaka, I think we're both in agreement that he will do all right in the Premier League.
Yeah.
Brendan, yeah, I think Brendan will stay, but I don't think he'll be up to much.
Squad player then. Yep.
And Gruev.
Nope. Yes. No. You think he goes? Okay.
He goes. I think. Yeah, he goes.
Groove goes a bit under the radar for me. I think I'd like to see Rothwell stay. What about your wingers then? You've got Nonto, Solomon, James.
Nonto, Solomon, James, and Ramazani are probably the four that you're looking at there.
What about Jack Harrison?
No, I mean Harrison. For me, I've said in previous episodes that I think he will come back. I don't think he'll come back. I think Harrison will go. I don't really see a narrative where he comes back to Leeds.
But do you not think you look at your wingers? I think if we sign Solomon, I think that would be a great.
I think Solomon
would be a great addition.
I think Solomon would be a smart addition, and I feel like all four of them will probably stay. So there's your four wingers probably.
I don't know about Ramazani, if I'm being honest. I haven't really seen much of him.
Maybe he might move on and we might get somebody else in, but I think obviously Nonto will probably be given an opportunity again. I think, in terms of the number 10, I think Joel Perot, and we'll definitely need another two, I think. That's the first one we really probably need to improve on.
The striking department then.
But again, I think Joel Perot will be given a chance. I think Mateo Joseph and probably Patrick Bamford will both be moved on.
I think I can see Mateo Joseph moving out on loan next year.
Yeah, I think Mateo will be moved along. I think Pat Bamford will also be moved on, and we'll have 2 or 3 new strikers, I think, probably. And Gavin says Solomon is staying. Look at his post. Solomon looks absolutely besotted with Leeds United, I must admit. So I don't think.
What you've just said there, then, George. We don't need 11 players because you've got. I think that James. I think he's been superb, and you need his pace in the Premier. I think you need that. 10 for me. I think we'd need 2, maybe 1 striker. Depends what you do with Bamford.
No, Bamford off. I think we need about 2 or 3 of them.
They're expensive Premier League strikers. You're talking at least minimum 35 million quid, and that's for a decent Championship striker. That's the going rate, George, for a decent Premier League. For a Premier League striker who's going to score you 15 plus goals, you're looking at upwards of 35 million. You look at it gets ridiculous, doesn't it, the transfer fees? But they need to get that recruitment right, and I think that the players which they target, they need to get them right.
Yeah, they just need to get it right.
They've got to get it right.
If it's more than quality over quantity, that's fine. They just need to get it. They just need to get it right, and right from the start of pre-season, right from now, you need to be there getting the right people in, getting the right manager in. If they do go with sacking Fark and turn into a new person, getting it right and not leaving it haphazard, closing your eyes and throwing a dartboard at a page,
I don't think though I think that chaos with Orta has gone, hasn't it? Because obviously you've got to remember the last time we were in the Premier League, we had Victor Orta in charge of our recruitment and our manager selections and all that sort of stuff, and he was a loose cannon, and he was by far the way better out of Leeds United.
Yes, absolutely.
But you would hope that obviously there's going to be change in the boardroom as well, isn't there, this summer? Gavin says number 10 is like Noah Lang. When Dia Godfrey, competition for Rodon Abraham as a striker, potentially. But I think a lot of those players there, though, Gavin, they're going to cost a lot of money. A lot of money.
I'm not sure. You don't know. I don't know. You don't know what.
It's not like Football Manager where you could go out and sign whoever you want. You've got to remember, they will look at bringing players in, and you've got to remember there's the PSR profit rules and things like that, and they're putting a lot of money into the stadium. I think they will. Whatever they do with it, I just hope to God that they don't just bank on this same squad. They've got to improve it, and they've got to look at real good quality.
They're not gonna stick with the squad completely. I think, like I said, I think we'll have pretty much a whole new squad by the end of the transfer window. I think we'll have a new manager as well. So I think we'll
saying that we don't know that.
We do know that. Or I know that.
I just want to while you're dwelling about sacking Farke, I just want to jump into the comments because there's been absolutely tons, which is brilliant. And we do read even after the show when we're not live on YouTube or when we're putting out the pod. Yes, we do read them all. So thank you to everybody. And please go on.
Sorry, Clive's talking about Tim Clyden-Danst, isn't it? Clyden-Danst. He's playing for Mönchengladbach. He's a German international now. He's, late 20s, 30s. But, he's not a bad shout, really.
That's the king. Really?
Welcome along, mate, to my channel as well. Welcome along, pal.
Please subscribe to this, Daz. This is where you can see me and George.
Leeds.
Jamie Vardy.
That's right.
No, I'd rather have Pat Bamford.
Late bloomer. Scored a lot of goals in the German Bundesliga. Scored, I think, for his national team as well. I don't know. I mean, the possibilities are endless now in the Premier League. We've just got to wait and see what the recruitment style is going to be for Leeds. Is there going to be a new manager involved? What it's all going to be? I just believe, Arron, that we do need to just go straight down the line and just say, right, I'm so sorry, Mr. Farke, but we need to improve and grow as a club, and we do not see you being able to do that. So that's it. And reports today. Now I'm just going to drop this now. I know it's getting late, Arron, here, and we probably will wrap up very shortly, I expect. But
we can keep going if you want, but go on.
Well, I'm just going to leave it here, and then like I said, we're probably going to wrap up soon. But I've been here today, speaking today, and Cesc Fabregas's name has come up. So I don't know what people are thinking about that. Just as a
you're on the wind up, pal. You really are.
Daily Mail checking the posts. Well, that'll be a fine thing. Gosh, honest
to God, I'd never say this to a co-host, but please do not listen to a word this man is saying. Cesc Fabregas. I have never heard anything as much. I'll tell you what. I'll start a rumor off like you've just started a rumor. Cesc Fabregas, as Jim Rowe would say, my ass. Let's throw Pablo Hernandez out there. Bring him in. No, I'll tell you what. I'll go on better.
Levels, is it now?
I'll tell you what. I'll go on better. There's only one man for this job, George. Wayne Rooney.
No, look. I know Clive is a Como manager, but he's on the list of people that Leeds United are wanting to sign as the manager.
No, whatever. No,
I don't know why.
Why? Surely, whoever's made that up needs to look at themselves and think, absolute nonsense. They've just thought, who's hanging around these days? Who's doing a bit of coaching? Cesc Fabregas. You'd be linked to Leeds. It would be the most un-Leeds thing to ever happen. That.
See, Michael says Raheem Sterling has been linked to Leeds. I mean, now in the Premier League, it all starts. I mean, you can't tell me that you wouldn't take Raheem Sterling.
I would actually, yeah, but I don't think it would afford his wages if I'm being
Raheem
honest.
Sterling is a great player even now, and he's not even that old. I think. But look, I don't know why Cesc Fabregas would be such a
because he's got no experience, man. If you're going to replace him, if you're going to replace a manager who's just got your promotion with a rookie, it just doesn't make sense.
I think it makes a heck of a lot of sense.
If you said no to AC Milan, he's not coming to Leeds. There you go. Eddie Gregg can replace Junior Firpo, says Pelly 10. Yeah, there you go. Done. Job done. Get Pochettino, man. Pochettino's in America. He's got the World Cup to prepare for. He's not coming.
No,
he's not going anywhere. Sod it. You wanted Jesse Marsh, by the way, if I remember, and you were the one singing his praises in the LS11 games. Yeah, you said Jesse Marsh was the saviour.
Let me just clarify.
Back in the LS11 days, George, you wanted Jesse Marsh, and look how that happened.
Let me just clarify it, though. I didn't know he was going to be as bad as that. But look, I said it makes sense, and I thought that he would be the next manager. It turned out that he was. Just because I was begging for the change from Bielsa, basically. But you know what I mean. Fab is very tactical aware and has adapted during the season to different games and different manager tactics. I don't think it's such a. I think they're expecting him to stay with Como. I know Gavin did say he rejected AC Milan, but I think what I'm saying is he is on the list of managers that they are looking at. We know that the Red Bull situation is that they're looking at in the Red Bull systems. Jurgen Klopp will never be a manager again. He will not. He's already come out. He's already come and said this, Dale. He doesn't want to manage a club in England again. So that would be out the question completely. It's a no. So, I don't know if the Fabregas rumours are completely true, but I don't know. Let's just wait and see.
Okay. I'll tell you what, Pelletin, let's go on better. Let's get Kalib Ekiban back, Solomon Dakara back. Let's get Berardi back. Let's get Alioski back. Let's get the old gang back. Let's get Marco Antonucci back as well. Yeah, what about him? He could be knocking around. He could do the manager's job. I can't believe, Josh. We've got promoted and we're already talking about Fark being sacked. I just want to leave you with a couple of things before we wrap things up, and I want to get people's comments in on this, George. What are you going to miss about the Championship for one season?
Nothing.
Nothing. Oh, nothing at all. You're going to miss something.
Mike says Fark story is in the fake story.
Fark news.
But look, I'm not going to miss anything about the Championship, mate. Other than winning games of football. That's
exactly what I'm going to miss, Michael. I am going to miss winning most weeks in the Championship.
Winning most weeks and feeling comfortable, particularly at Elland Road. That's probably what we're going to miss is the comfortability of we're actually going to win this game today, and it doesn't feel like a challenge actually, and it's kind of nice because because it just is, because everybody loves winning games of football. So I think that's going to be the most difficult transition is kind of losing probably most weeks if we're going to be honest about it, or just being on the back foot most of the time. Whereas for the last two seasons, all right, we didn't succeed last year, but we were still winning most games of football when you look at it. So, winning games is probably the only thing.
Okay. Yeah. What about, I'll tell you what, here's one for you. Liam Cooper. Would you have him back as manager?
No.
Clive says, I think we'll be okay next season if we get the recruitment correct. Elland Road has to be a fortress in the Premier League as it was in Bielsa's first season. Daniel needs to have a crack first, says Michael. Postecoglou in. He'll make sure Leeds finish above Spurs.
I said this yesterday to you guys, didn't I? I said, Ange gets sacked at the end of the season. He takes over at Leeds, and that's what
I said. The problem is Levi will have some deal in his contract, but he won't be able to manage anywhere for 2 years or something for him to get the payout.
I don't know. That did cross my mind as well, Daz. I did think about that as well. So,
as things stand, Daniel Farke is the Leeds United manager, and he is to be expected to be still the Leeds United manager. But who knows? There's crazy things have happened in football. I don't know.
Football is crazy. It's a business at the end of the day.
Absolutely. That is one thing we can agree on, George. And there is no loyalty these days in football.
No,
really
no, absolutely not. There's no loyalty.
Money talks, doesn't it? But you would hope he'd be given a chance. And I hope
from a human point of view, yes, but from a business point of view, not really.
I just want to touch what Clive said there. Just the timing of that stupid story not annoy you. It has annoyed the hell out of me since I heard the clips and the memes, and then George jump on the bandwagon saying "fuck out, fuck out."
I was saying that last year.
He's been saying all year, Clive.
Deserve it. Yeah, I forgot about him.
Yeah, so it's just if it says that Michael says if we get
Deserve it. That's not a bad shout.
Yeah. Where is he these days?
Is he still at Marseille, Dale? I don't know. Is he still at Marseille?
Don't know. It says, let's have a look here. Michael says, if we get the title, the first Prem should be EPL champs versus EFL champs.
Well, that was what it was
when we did.
When we did in 2020, wasn't it?
Yeah. And then, like at least announce it was the season is finished, not 2 games before. Ultimately, we've got to go and win. We've got to go and win the league first, and that could be the one. Listen, if we don't win the next 2 games, I'm sure this man will be calling Fark out still, won't you, George?
See, Michael's got it. Yes, Super Mercado. Roger Mercado. Michael, go listen to me. He'll be on later on today or tomorrow. Talking Brazil. I've just done a live episode before I came on with Arron today with my brother James, talking about another round of fixtures in the Brazilian Serie A, Brasileirão. Roger Mercado. They slipped a little bit of Inter. Could we go and get him? I don't know, but Roger.
I have no idea who he is or if he's any
Super Mercado, and that is fun.
Are you saying Super Mercado?
Yeah, if you know what if you know Spanish, it's a funny little metaphor. Super Mercado. He's actually called Roger. He's Roger Mercado.
Who's Roger Mercado?
He's the international manager in Brazil. International. A team in Brazil. Roger Mercado is the manager. Roger Mercado, Super Mercado, as we call him.
Is he like the Jose Mourinho of Brazil?
No, not really.
Is he like
Mercado?
Is he the Jurgen Klopp of Brazil?
Everybody knows what Super Mercado is if he can speak Spanish, which makes it funny.
Know what you're on about. Anyway,
you know what Super Mercado is in Spanish? Somebody in the comments will know, surely.
Please do in the comments. You've got a couple of minutes to let us know. George, we've talked for an hour and 15 minutes about sacking Fark. Thank you, Mr. But we listen. This is what makes this show. 2 different opinions, and you can agree and disagree. Fark hopefully needs to be given a chance. But anyway, George, we've got a football match to predict. Leeds take on Bristol City on Monday. Monday night, under the lights at Elland Road for the final home game of this championship promotion winning season. Leeds still going on for the title, George. Bristol City scrapping for a playoff place. How do you see this one going?
I don't know. It's hard to say if Leeds are kind of still on the booze. I think Leeds will want to win the league.
If you remember when we played Derby, they were all pissed.
But we still battered them, didn't we?
I know.
I think Leeds, I think Bristol will be confident of tying up a playoff spot still, even. I think they'll be still confident. I think we'll beat them. It'll be a close game. But the thing is, I don't want to lose the last home game of the season because we've only lost 1 all season at Elland Road. We want to go out on a high. I know there'll be celebration after the game, but we're
on the pitch.
Yeah, probably, because we didn't get, again, there wasn't the opportunity. It wasn't confirmed after Monday's game. It wasn't confirmed just then. But I think Leeds will win. I think it'll be, again, it could be a slapping. I think Leeds are just in like a bit of beast mode now. Get it done and fuck the opposition and just get the goals and just take the piss a bit. And I think
that pressure as well with Leeds is off, isn't it? Because they know the main job is done. You think that the shackles are off again, go and entertain everybody and leave leave us and keep us in with a shot, because we ain't going to win the trophy on Monday. We know that for a fact.
No,
it's going to go right down to the wire. And then obviously it's the last game of the season, Plymouth away. Plymouth could be, by the time we play them, be down.
Yeah, it's a close one though. Again, there's not a whole lot of weight for us on that. Yeah. There might be for the team, but you ask the fans. Most fans would say we just wanted promotion.
Yeah, listen, we're in a fact, it's like Chris Wilder has said, which we need to give him a special mention as well here on Talking Leeds. Chris Wilder, for us to both go and finish on 100 points is remarkable, Burnley and Leeds. And I actually do think Leeds will win this one. I think Leeds will finish on 100 points, and I think Burnley will as well. I think Leeds will beat Bristol City, and I'm going to go for 4-0. I think they'll absolutely run riot.
I think it could go that way. It's party atmosphere. It'd be similar maybe to Stoke. Just get the job done and enjoy it, and step close to the title. Promotion already done. Just have another party. Why not? Fuck it. That's what it's there for.
And the thing is, though, as well, as fans, we've been robbed of this. We haven't had this for a while. Things like this don't happen very often. We've got to enjoy the moment, and I think they'll want to give the fans something to go out on a win for, especially your final home game before the promotion parade.
Exactly. Just enjoy it. Go and enjoy it, and like I said, keep the party rolling. Why not? Fuck it. We've won it. We've got promoted.
Yeah, absolutely. I just want to touch on a couple of ones here. Let's have a look before we leave. Plymouth might win the next game, says Clive. Math Moores says, I would like to finish on 100 points and win the title. By the way, is Fark on a 2-year contract? He's got 2 years left. Math. That's it. Tanaka works off that pizza. Michael says, if Leeds finish the season without conceding another goal, it will be another record broken. Currently, 29 goals conceded is the second best in history. I believe Burnley will have the best record. Burnley, you've got to take your hats off to them. Remarkable defensive record.
Yeah, fantastic.
Thanks for listening, Daz. Please do give us a like, subscribe as well. Please just hit the bloody bell. Hit the bell. We're going to do Player of the Seasons next week, Matt, so you can join us for that. What? I think you're having a bit of a chat here. Long time no see. You still Ben Bloom's group. Please inform us of what that is, Clive.
Benjamin Bloom. Benjamin Bloom is a well-known championship YouTuber. He goes on championship. He does the championship. He's an Ipswich Town fan. Come on, everybody.
Listen here, Math. Here, listen.
Program.
Math and Clive, listen. We are not championship for much longer. We are Premier League. George, what have you got coming up on your channels over the next couple of days?
Well, I'll be previewing the Bristol game. I might do my little sort of two pence when I get an opportunity on the actual promotion and everything like that. I did just do it briefly after I looked at the Stoke game, but I think in the summer we go to the summer transfer rumours around Leeds will be coming back. All this sort of thing, it's next season, trying to improve the channel a bit, doing a bit interviews and watch-alongs and things like this. So, it's all
a busy old do, haven't you? And then also,
it'll be busy, but that's the way it goes. Premier League for the club means Premier League for our podcast, for my channel as well, my podcast as well. So it's all up in the ante, up in the stakes, and you roll with it. Everybody's buzzing after promotion. There's also a little tune I did, which I did say to you, Aaron, what I did. It's amazing what you could do with AI, but I did also I did write the lyrics for that, to be fair. So, but so you can do things like that. It's all good.
It's good. So you've got all that coming. We've got obviously me and Jerry will be back with the match reactions for the Bristol. We might do a live kind of from the parade when Leeds do a parade in Leeds. That might be quite good content. And obviously we've got next week's show as well. But George, I'm just going to leave you on this. This is the one. Daz, I agree with keeping the same manager from promotion. Don't fire the chef when the kitchen is about to get an upgrade. I'm just worried about the current track record of promoted teams. And I think that is the comment of the week for me. But we are Premier League. The stay in the Championship, Leeds United fans, is almost over, and hopefully we won't be back in it, even though we probably will next season. Probably will. George, thank you very much for joining us. We'll be back same time next week, probably debating who will be replacing Daniel Farke when he loses to Bristol City, and it's all doom and gloom again. And as Lav says, we've got to give him a chance, and I hope we do. Thank you, everybody, as well. Please do continue to listen to us on your pod providers. Give us a like, give us a share. Give us the ring the bell thing. I don't know how ring the bell is that still the thing on YouTube. Subscribe, and you'll know when we're live. We want to get to 200, but do you know what? Let's go bigger. Let's go 500. We want to hit 500 subscribers before the end of the season. So please do tell your friends, tell your colleagues, tell your family, and we'll see you next week. See you later.
Next week, marching on together.